G'day. I'm pleased to be able to present this short paper and thank David Park for his generous invitation and the ICA for its acceptance of this work. As a virtual presentation, I hope that this will be of use to those who are able to view it. I'll be speaking with the help of PowerPoint. My name is Hart Cohen and I work at Western Sydney University in the School of Humanities and Communication Arts. My paper is titled From Open Access to Open Scholarship. My interest in open access journal publishing has been marked by my role as founding editor of the global media journal Australia edition. Now in its 13th year of publication, it has remained as an open access journal to both authors and readers. It's part of a network of global media journals around the world, but not all editions have remained open. A second connection to open access publication is a recent submission to the Open Book Publishers for an article collectively authored by myself and colleagues in the School of Humanities and Communication Arts and from the Department of Design. This piece began as a presentation to the online Around the World conference hosted by the University of Alberta in 2019 on the theme of sustainability. The online publication in which our article will appear is titled Right Research, Modeling Sustainable Research Practices in the Anthropocene. The publication features a Creative Commons copyright arrangement. My intent in this short talk is to track the conceptual shift from open access to open scholarship in academic contexts. The values of open and open scholarship are linked to a commons ethos where access and sharing of knowledge is facilitated. There are variants on this basic ethos, but overall consensus on the public benefits of knowledge sharing are multiple and seen as socially and scholastically advantageous. While this basic premise is well articulated, a more nuanced argument seeks to make open scholarship more than about greater access, but also about engagement with research. This argument is about enhancing the public use of research and its impact in communities beyond academia. When John Maxwell writes, "What kind of scholarly discourse will we see when the outputs of our work become not only accessible, but truly open, reviewable, revisable, reusable, remixable by an unanticipated audience?" When he says this, he is foreseeing a situation characterized by both risks and opportunities. Platformization. One of the presuppositions of this paper is that as the boundary between publishing and disseminating content on the internet shrinks, it also becomes vexed. For example, for some time, Facebook claimed to be a platform that facilitates content to be published, but was not itself a publisher. With the advent of greater connectivity and the proliferation of hate speech and fake news, this position has become refuted in Europe and in other national precincts. Streamed racialized violence like the kind witnessed in New Zealand last year and in more recent public media have highlighted Facebook's reluctance or inability to deal with this material across its platform. US Code 230, initially agreed as it states on the question of social media platforms, formulated in 1998, the treatment of publisher or speaker, that no provider or user of an interactive computer service shall be treated as the publisher or speaker of any information provided by another information content provider. Undoubtedly, this is a space where the fact of platformization and the emergent debate on a global scale is taking place and will do so for some time. Australia's Excellence Research in Australia, or ERA, establishes a ranking for publishers in the relevant fields. The top-tier publishers are a small, restricted, and elite group, such as Oxford, Cambridge, and the like. The second tier would be less prestigious and would be a larger group. This exercise was not at all developed with any certainty, and metrics that are available, for example from Scimago, tend to privilege STEM studies rather than arts or humanities. Questions around metrics more generally are vexed, and in this sense, the idea of open social scholarship seems to offer a path away from metrics and towards a form of participatory ranking or assessment through an iterative process of scholarly production. In their essay, Why Do We Digitize? The Case for Slow Digitization, Prescott and Hughes identify a primary value of digital projects by pointing to the advantages of exploring manuscripts gradually. For example, how a slow accumulation of knowledge and understanding of a particular manuscript will in turn affirm the importance to it of detailed scholarly research and analysis, as much as increase access to it, and will help build ultimately a truly multifaceted digital archive of the manuscript. So a qualification of open scholarship is that the sources of knowledge may themselves be in a process of becoming open. That is to say, moving in and out of whatever the academic contexts happen to be creating, and where the work may only be partly be said to occupy the finite space of academia. The digital does allow for a permanent availability for modification, amendment, revision, or updating. That said, the iteration of a work can also be a move to a para-academic context online, to the sites that now offer further reach to followers and a multitude of parameters and algorithms to assure exposure to an entirely separate set of constituents, some of whom may cross over with traditional academic space and some who may not. The implication here is that the idea of open could refer more to a process of alienation from academic contexts than one that appears seamlessly embedded within them. Implementing New Knowledge Environments, or INKE. The University of Victoria, British Columbia has led an initiative through conferences, gatherings, and publishing that explores models of open social scholarship, which is seen as the next logical step beyond open access. This has been extended to university networks in Australia and tied to research groups who identify strongly with the digital humanities. According to the leading academics associated with this initiative, the current state of digital technology offers a clear opportunity to revamp scholarly communication into a multifaceted open system that integrates and takes advantage of the near ubiquitous global network. In doing so, the values of collaboration, sharing, and transparency inherent to open social scholarship can be integrated into knowledge dissemination method. The aims of INKE are to critique standard or mainstream academic research models and offer a pathway towards a more open system of scholarly production that remains robust and of high quality. As the INKE writers state, straightforward access to research materials is a benefit that many have worked tirelessly for and is not something to be taken for granted. But in a future ideal world of universal access, how do we evolve the focus from access to engagement? They quote Heidi McGregor and Kevin Guthrie in a work titled Delivering Impact of Scholarly Information, Is Access Enough? They state that, quote, a more comprehensive understanding of interaction with scholarly materials is necessary in order to facilitate access in a much broader sense of the word. Indeed, researchers and publishers need to make research materials freely available online. They should, however, also consider what other elements are involved for more meaningful interaction with such materials. McGregor and Guthrie call this productive use, and they argue that literacy, technology, awareness, access, and training are all necessary to facilitate such use. These reflections lead inevitably towards a new model of open social scholarship and a suite of methods and approaches to research to enact this model. One of these is collaboration as an ethos of knowledge production, as much a recognition of how much knowledge relies on collaboration, despite a publishing regime that still encourages individual prowess in publishing. Indeed, it is a call for a greater acknowledgement of those who are often invisible in research and knowledge production that need to be better recognized. In this graphic illustrating a pyramid of academic production, the pinnacle is also the least social. Hence the interest in seeing the foundations of scholarship become more part of the overall perception of what is valued in academic research. So the following becomes a kind of set of touchstones for how open scholarship can proceed. Collaboration as a basic modality of scholarly production, both in regards to working with others and to making the ongoing work more pronounced and visible. Ongoingness, or the sense that public work somehow represents research or scholarship in action as opposed to summative reportage. The durability and citability of the work insofar as all scholarly communication modes could be valued in similar ways. Archiving of and access to scholarly material, privileging inquiry, dialogue, knowledge mobilization, engagement, and abundance, rather than merely rigor, exclusivity, reproducibility, criticism, and scarcity. So to conclude, the interest in open social scholarship has now shown to be viable over a number of years. There are a host of conferences, symposia, and publications that have reflected the core values and modus operandi of this community of practice. Through a form of scholarly communication cycle, INKE enacts a kind of iterative engagement with its contributors, and through these means has broached a model of scholarly production that does appear more open than has hitherto been the case in academic scholarly contexts. So some references for this presentation, and thank you very much for your attention.